All right, sorry, there was a little interruption there, but it's good because the video is not extremely long because of that. But I do want to finish reading some more to you. All right, Mommy thinks you're pretty amazing. God thinks you're pretty amazing. And when we live for Him, we can do amazing things, all right? I want you to trust Him that He can heal your heart and your soul and your body because He wants to. He wants to. He really does. So let's go on to finish chapter 7, possibly. It's a longer chapter, so I might not finish it. We'll see. All right, it says, beware false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves, right? You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes or thorns, figs or thistles? In other words, what is their life producing? Is it good things? Are they helping people? Are they leading people to God and showing people Jesus? Or are they, in the end, there's just destruction behind them and they're hurting people and, right? You know what kind of life a person lives by the things they're producing, the things that are around them. People hurt around them, or it's just, you can tell. Every truth that bringeth not good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. So, if you go to an apple grove, I don't know if you have them here. It's apple season here, so it's a big deal. We have cider, and we have apples, and we have apple cider donuts. It's a really good time of year here. So, but if the apples have something wrong with them, if they got hit by frost because it's too cold or something, sometimes they have to cut down the tree. They have to trim back the branches, right? And those branches that they trim off that have disease on them, they have to throw them in a fire because you don't want any of that disease to spread to any of your other trees. And sometimes we got to do that. Sometimes we have to cut bad things out of our lives, things that don't help us and don't help us grow. All right? It's just, He shows us because there are times that we have to cut things out of our lives and not do things that are not helping us, they're harming us, and we don't even know it sometimes. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit. All right? Good cannot produce bad. It just doesn't happen. Neither can a corrupt tree bring good fruit. So a tree that has disease is not going to bring forth nice fruit, not going to have nice apples on it, because there's something wrong with it. Every tree that bringeth not fruit is thrown down and cast into the fire. Remember, Mommy said if it's got something wrong with it, we got to cut it down because we don't want it wrecking everything else. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name we cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? All right, so when he's saying my name, Jesus is preaching this. He's talking about his name. God's name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. There's nobody else in heaven but one person. His name is Jesus. He's everywhere. He's in the air I breathe. He's in the air that's in my lungs. He's there. All right? People are going to look like they're doing good things, but they're not. They're doing bad things. They're going to say, oh, I did this, and oh, I did this, but not really, When I profess, then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. That means iniquity is sin. Therefore, whoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken them unto a wise man which built a house upon a rock. All right? If we listen to him and his word, let me read you a story about the house and the rock. And a rain came and descended, and the floods came. You guys know all about this, right? The rain, right? And the floods, and the winds blew, and it beat upon the house, and it fell not. Because why? He built it on the rock. Rocks are not going to move. The pieces, we call it ledge here. It's a big piece of rock in the ground. It goes everywhere. something that's built on that and attached to that, it's not gonna go away, because it's not gonna fall down. It's got a good foundation. It's got a good base. Something good it was built on. Not like your house. It's not gonna leak. It's not gonna fall down, because it was founded on the rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. Yes, sand is not a good thing to build on. And the rains came, and the floods came again, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell. Why? The whole thing fell. Great was the fall of it, it says. Why? Because they built on the sand, and sand washes away and goes out and causes leaks and stuff, right? And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. In other words, he's teaching them, and he has the authority of God. The scribes were just teaching it because they knew it. They read the Bible, and he's teaching it because he knows it, he believes it, and he lives it. It's more than just reading a book. It's his life. It's not the scribe's life. They're smart, they read books, they write books, but they don't make it part of their life. And that is all of chapter 7. And it's about the leper. Do you know what a leper is? A leper is a person that has sores. It's like a sore eating skin, and it like eats away at their skin and their bones. Some of them have literal holes in their faces, and it is contagious, but they treated them very badly. They had actual leper colonies. They cast them out, and they had a separate place to live together, and no one could go near them and stuff. So when Jesus came down from the mountain, that was all taught on the Mount of Olives. When he came down from the mountains, he had crowds following him, because they knew that he was the Christ. He was whom the Jews had waited for all their life. So he came down from the mountains, and great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper. Uh-oh. So leopards were not allowed to be, and if you touched them, you had to go and sit somewhere for so many days, and 14 days or something, and to see if you were clean or unclean, or whether you had leprosy or not. And behold, there came a leopard and worshipped, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou can make me clean. They called lepers unclean. A matter of fact, leopards, if you had leprosy and you were walking down the road, you had to yell as you walked down the road, and any people around you, unclean, unclean, so people would avoid you and not go near you. They literally had to do that. How humiliating is that? Right? That's what they had to do. They were literally castaways, and they had to announce that they had leprosy, so no one would go near them, literally. But he knew that Jesus could make him whole. He knew that Jesus could heal him. And Jesus said unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priest, and offer gifts that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. So, Jesus put forth his hand, he did, and touched him. That is unheard of. Jesus was not supposed to touch him. Nobody was supposed to touch a leper. And if they thought they were cured of their leprosy, they had to go before the priest in the temple. And they had to pronounce him unclean. Even if they had nothing, no spots or nothing, they had to pronounce him clean, so he could live among people again. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. It was gone. He was healed, completely healed. And Jesus said unto them, Don't tell anyone, because he already had multitudes following him, right? But go thy way and show thyself to the priest, which he had to do in order to be clean again, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. And Jesus was entered into Capernaum. There came unto him a centurion beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. He had a servant He must have treated his servants very well and cared about them, because this man was very, very sick. Home, sick with palsy and tormented in great, great pain. And he went to Jesus. He went and sought out Jesus and said, listen, my servant's so sick. I need your help. Doctors aren't helping him. Nothing. And he just said, please come. Please come. And you know what Jesus said? I will come and heal him. That's it. I will come and heal him. And you know what the centurion said? He answered, he knew who Jesus was. He had a revelation. He knew that Jesus was God. He did, because he answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that should come under my roof. He didn't. He's like, I'm not worthy to have you, such a great man. Even though he was a centurion, he was a big man in society, big man in his culture. He said, I'm not even worthy for you to come. I don't want you to come to my humble abode. I'm not worthy of you. You just have to speak the word. My faith is so strong. Just say that word, and my servant shall be healed. For I am under authority, having soldiers under me. Yeah, he's a centurion. He has great parts of armies under him, right? And he knows that he can say to one of his men, go and do this, or do that, and do this, or do that. And his men go, right? He says, I say to my man, go, and he goeth. That's all he has to say. And to another, come, and he cometh. And to my servants, do this. He do it. So, if he says to one of his military, go, he goes. If he says come, he comes. If he tells a servant to do something, he does it. He knows, being a man of authority, he just has to speak the word. Then Jesus heard it. He was marveled. He said unto them that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great a faith, no, not in all of Israel. This man had huge faith. He's like, I know what it's like to be an authority, and you rule the heavens and the earth. I know who you are. I know you can heal them, and I know you just need to speak the word, just like I do to my servants and my soldiers. You just have to speak the word, and it's going to be done. I know that. I know that. I have faith in that. I understand authority. I do. And I know if you just say the word, it's going to be done. And it was. It was done. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast into utter darkness, where they're weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said unto the centurion, go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so it be done unto thee. And his servant was healed that selfsame hour. In other words, he went home and he inquired, in the same time Jesus says, it's done. That servant was healed. That same moment. That same moment. And Jesus was come unto Peter's house. He saw his wife's mother was sick with a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her. And she rose and ministered unto them. When the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils. And he cast out the spirits with his word, and he healed all that were sick. Jesus can heal any spirit. He can cast them out of your life. He can make them go. Even the bad. Okay? Jesus, he can just make them go. He can just make them go. The fever left that girl. She just touched his hand. People came with him, and they were possessed of devils, and he cast them out, and their life was healed. All he had to do was speak the word, and he healed all that were sick. He just spoke the word. He didn't have to touch them. He didn't have to do anything. He just spoke the word, because God has that authority. He has that authority to speak healing into our lives. He does. And he can speak healing into your life. You just got to trust him and accept that. Have that faith that the centurion had. Have the faith that the leper had. God, I know you can do this. That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. He did. He's fulfilling prophecy. Stuff they talked about in Isaiah in the Old Testament. He's fulfilling it here. And it's years later, like over 500 years later. Now Jesus saw a great multitude about them, and he gave a commandment to depart unto the other side. A certain scribe came and said to him, Master, I will follow there wherever you go. Wherever you go, I'm going to follow you. And he said, the foxes have holes, the birds have the air to have nests, but the Son of Man hath not to lay his head. And another of his disciples said to him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Jesus said, follow me, and let the dead bury their dead. And when he entered to his ship, his disciples followed me. Behold, there was a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with waves, but he was asleep. He was asleep. Okay, so there's a storm all around. Guess what? He was asleep. He fell asleep. What are you doing? Jesus, we need you now, and you're asleep in the boat. What's the deal with that? What is the deal with that? Well, let's see what he did. And the disciples came to him and woke him, saying, Lord, save us. We will perish. Yep, they went down there and woke him up. Hey, dude, we have a storm going on here. The boat's going to be wrecked. We are going to be shipwrecked because of the storm. We need your help. We need your help. These are his disciples. These are the people that followed Jesus and saw all these miracles. They saw all these miracles, and they're worried about a storm. Yep, they're worried about a storm, and they saw all those miracles. They saw the leper heal. They saw the centurion. They saw the servant girl heal. They witnessed it all. And lots more, and yet they're asking him because they're scared of a storm. Okay, what's wrong with that picture? They already know he could do it. He says, his disciple came to him, woke him up, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. We're going to die. Help us, we're going to die. Yeah. He saith unto them, why are you afraid? Why are you fearful? Do you not have the faith? He's like, why are you fearful, O ye of little faith? And he rose, just rebuked the wind and the sea, and it just calmed. It just calmed down like a pond. Just smooth pond. And the men marveled, saying, what manner of this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? Not just diseases go, not just healing of their bodies and minds. He speaks the word and people are healed, but the very elements of the world, the sky and the sea and the earth, obey him. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And they saw all that, and yet they still had trouble with their faith here. We all have trouble with our faith sometimes. And when he had come to the other side of the country of the Gergesenes, there met two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by the way. And behold, they cried out, saying, okay, this is something I want to show you. And behold, cried out, saying, what have we to do, ye Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come to torment us before our time? Because the bad knows where he's going. That's the bad speaking to those people, saying, you've come to torment us before our time, because we know what our end is already. We know we're going to be tormented. We know what's already been brought. They know. And they ask Jesus if he comes before his time. And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into this herd of swine. And he said unto them, go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea, and perished in the waters. And they that kept them fled, and went to their ways into the city, and told everything, and what had befallen to the possessed of devils. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coast. They were afraid. They were afraid at that point of Jesus, but they don't have to be afraid. They don't. Right? God's got you too, Juju's. I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to have faith in him. I want you to talk to him because he's got you and he's there to answer your prayers and to heal all your hurts and heal your body. He's got you.